Hello and welcome to episode 114 of the DaebakCast. This is a weekly podcast where the three of us finally, again, come together each week to talk about K-pop and whatever's current in the industry. This week we got a shitload of album reviews, so look forward to that. And yeah, I guess before I go into the rest of my spiel, I'll explain why I haven't been on the past few weeks.
Yeah,
I'm
who
now
are
in
you again?
Korea. I'm Jacob, your normal host, usually.
Hashtag no
Anyways,
blow note.
hashtag no blow note. Now I'm currently in Korea. This is my dorm room in Seoul. That's why my setup is so like freshman year of college again, underneath the bunk bed. Yeah, basically, I've been trying to figure out like how I'm supposed to record. First, the internet was being really horrible in my room. Then I tried to find another place, and then I couldn't find anywhere because I thought there were study rooms on campus, but those aren't private. Blah, blah, blah. Here we are. So now I'm in my dorm room with the door shut, and I've got Discord up on my tablet, music on my phone, and I'm recording on my laptop. It's the most jank setup ever. But we're here. We're here. We're doing it. So,
Yep.
without further ado, as always, I'm joined by Nate.
I like your pheromone. Thanks,
What?
Vav. That was a line in Vav's single.
DAB.
Shout out to XZ for being the first person to notice that I changed my background for the first time since we started this podcast.
Yeah.
So now
I'm
it's
jelly.
my Tiffany concert poster as well as the fan banner and my entry wristband.
That's something I would frame and put like in the center of my house. No, I'm kidding.
No, well, I mean, when I get my house, one of the bedrooms is basically gonna be a studio, probably. So
Yeah.
my background will be.
A shrine.
I'll actually hang it instead of
That's an
having it
SD
leaning
shrine.
against the wall. Yeah.
All right. Also, as always, I'm joined by Andrew, who usually has three things.
Number one, I finally got around to watching Captain Marvel, which was pretty good. There was a
I
twist
liked
I
it.
didn't expect. I was talking about it with Jacob, but we'll see where that leads. That's not the primary thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about mostly how I completely forgot that Brie Larson had a music career before becoming an actress.
Wait, really?
Yeah, she
I didn't know that.
she was like a singer in like the mid 2000s, and I specifically remember her music because she opened for Jesse McCartney, aka
Okay.
formerly of
Okay.
the boy band Dream Street, because when he did his solo like career tour thing, Brie Larson was the opening act. And my sister was
That's
obsessed
funny.
with Jesse McCartney, so she managed to end up listening to Brie Larson's music, and I'm just like, it's all coming back to me now. I don't know if I like specifically put all of this like out of my knowledge or in a locked it away deep in part of my brain, but I just completely remembered it, and it just blew me away. It's crazy.
Of course
to
she
think
does
that-
music. She did music in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. Oh, freaking the best song in Scott Pilgrim, Black Sheep or whatever what it was called.
Yeah.
Damn, Scott Pilgrim's such a good movie too. Like, I know it's a joke. It's like, Scott Pilgrim's a hidden gem or something like that. But no, seriously, it did not get enough love when it first came out. So, number two, in Discord, we've been simultaneously running our K-pop March Madness brackets. So, rating like best idols sort of thing. And this week we just started the NCAA March Madness bracket group thing. Where we pick our favorite college teams and see how many we get correct. And just spoiler alert, I'm not getting that many correct. Currently, we have Jade in the lead. Oh, this is recorded on Saturday morning, so this is before round two. After one round, we have Jade and Baron and Egg as our top three. We'll see who ends up getting it correct towards the end. I mean, my final four is still intact. That's all I care about, honestly. But yeah, we'll see. Whoever wins gets 1 month of Discord Nitro, so it should be fun.
Except Jacob.
Hey, except for Jacob and I. I already have.
By the way,
Nitro.
Irene and Kai won the visual bracket.
Hey.
I voted for Taeyeon.
I voted for Taeyeon and Taemin.
Yeah.
Gen
Me
2.
too, actually. Yeah.
Gen
me
2
too.
stands.
Hashtag SM bias.
Gen 2 should have beat the 100%. The Discord's SM biased. Top 4 was all
okay.
SM. Gen 2 versus Gen 3.
And number 3, there was some like madness on Discord the other day where literally they were playing Russian roulette with a
Why did they
auto
give a
kick
bot? Why did they give a bot the ability to
I
kick
don't
people?
know. They were like, okay,
Cooper, what's wrong with you?
Let's use auto kick to just mess around and purge the
They
chat.
kicked PD of all
They kicked
people.
form of therapy. What the hell? Everyone was like, no. And then everyone's name got changed to O for some reason. I'm just like, what the hell is going on?
I looked today and Cooper's name was Michael.
Why? Well, stop changing your names.
Or was that yesterday? I don't know.
I don't know.
Hi,
I don't know.
Michael.
Anyway, this is just a big advertisement for our Discord. It's Mucho Lit. That's the easiest way you can contact us. It's where you can keep up with all the news and everything, and we'll usually give our first thoughts on our Discord. So yeah. Also, just a minor sort of programming note. Produce Cast is coming back next week. The week that this releases, potentially. We're going to start covering Produce X101, and we have Jacob as our on-site reporter. It doesn't start till May, so I don't know how much. That's the thing, you can only cover it for like 2 months, and then
what if we had a a thing on Discord where Discord chooses like who I vote for?
Yeah, no,
like,
that's actually a good idea. Yeah, where we'll get Discord to vote on your behalf.
I have a Korean phone number, so I can do it.
Yeah, so we're gonna rig the system entirely.
Yep, through my one vote.
Yep. Yeah. And that's all I had to say today for my 3 things.
Yes. All right. So I guess without further ado, I mentioned before I'm Jacob #NoBlono, and also sorry in advance if my audio sounds like crap. We're running on old equipment, so
it's okay. He's got a snowball. Back to the snowball days.
Yes. All right. So, anyways, let's get into our first review. And I believe Andrew is going to lead that topic.
You don't cover the.
Just block the camera with your phone.
Yeah, I'll just be like this.
Okay, so for first review is Baek Yerin, or according to YouTube, Yerin Baek.
No,
I don't know why.
Wrong.
That sounds so weird.
On iTunes, it's like that too.
Yeah, well, I think she goes professionally by Yerin Baek, but I just know her as Baek Yerin. Baek Yerin.
Did she study in America or anything like that?
I have no idea. She knows English and everything, so she must.
Yeah.
Same thing with, Jamie went to school in like.
Yeah, she went to international school, I think, in like Thailand or something like that.
Yeah, so that explains it. Anyway, we're going to be covering Baek Yerin's most recent mini album, her first comeback in God knows how long. It's entitled Our Love Is Great.
Spent 2 years living in New York, where her family now lives.
Okay.
So
she's a local. So
she was born in Korea.
For those of you that don't know who Baek Yerin is, she is a member of 15 and. I don't know if 15 and still exists.
A group that doesn't exist.
Wait, did they disband?
They're just doing their own thing. So
Neither of them have put out music other than like this. Jimin put out like one song in the last 4 years.
Yeah,
she had a mini album last year.
Yeah, Jamie.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But before that, she hadn't put out music like years.
So, yeah.
Honestly, they're both so good. I wish they'd have a 15 and come back, but maybe they're just both not really interested in
doing a duo.
So
because their music is vastly different. So Baek Yerin, member of 15 and she's a member of a rock band that she started last year called the Volunteers. She's been doing a lot of SoundCloud music and a lot of like stuff on her own for the past couple of years.
I didn't know she had a rock band.
Yeah, she was.
Check that out.
Yeah, she's a lead singer and guitarist for a band called the Volunteers. So yeah, she's just been doing her own thing for the past couple of years, and this is her first release under JYP in like 2 years or 2 or 3 years, possibly. It's been a while. So getting into the review, we're starting off with Mary and the Witch's Flower. Now, if you're looking on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, they spelled it wrong. It's spelled Merry, but I double checked the the title, and I was correct. She had like in parentheses it has the Japanese. It's supposed to be Mary and the Witch's Flower, Mary, because it's based off of. It's named after this anime, which we're totally not sponsored by, but I love the anime movie Mary and the Witch's Flower. It's by Studio Ponok, which is it's like an offshoot of Studio Ghibli. It's made by former Studio Ghibli animators, and this was their first big major release. So,
okay.
I don't want to go too into the weeds about the plot, but it's basically like anime Harry Potter. If that makes sense. It's kind of it's so basically kind of like similar to whatchamacallit. God, well, I forget the anime. The one that's my trigger.
Okay. Little Witch Academia.
Yeah, it's basically like Little Witch Academia, but like Studio Ghibli-fied or Studio Ponok-fied.
Okay.
Anyway.
The title on iTunes is correct, by the way.
Okay, yeah, it's just
Mary and the Witch's Flower.
It's just people on Spotify that can't spell.
Spotify there's a bunch of stuff screwed up because one of Hayes' songs has a typo in it, and like, and the
wait, it's spelled wrong. MERRY is wrong.
Yeah, MERRY.
Yeah, it's MARY.
It's MARY.
The person, like the name Mary.
Yeah, no,
Mary,
it's wrong on iTunes too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I guess whoever was entering the metadata,
whoever romanized it. Yeah,
whoever romanized it. Yeah. Anyway, into the actual song. This might be one of like the actual like instrumental intro might actually be one of my favorite like intros to an album I've ever heard. At least the K-pop. Just like the wind chimes and like the whole like piano thing. It basically kind of reminds me of the musical direction that they went with in the game Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's basically just a lot of like atmospheric, like almost like background music type things where it's trying to stay out of the way too much, and then once it kicks into the actual song, it's like this like really nice R&B beat. And this is when I remembered how much I love Becky Yerin's voice. Just her voice is arguably some of the best in K-pop. And I think it's totally fitting. This song completely fits the theme of like Mary and the Witch's Flower. Like you can straight up make an AMV to this using this song, and it's cool. It's like a random like sort of inspiration to pull from, but I really enjoyed this song a lot just because of how well I thought it fit with the theme and how good just Becky in her voice is. And I'm just gonna be saying that a lot for this whole album. So
yeah.
Am I next? I always forget the order. So
yeah, you're next.
It's you after Andrew. You're always after Andrew.
So yeah. All right. So it's basically the order on which it's on my screen. Okay. So like it starts out with very like ambient pianos and bells and chimes and stuff, which I really liked. It gave it like kind of like a mystical or magical feeling, which definitely fits if it's supposed to be something like Little Witch Academia or like that movie, which I haven't seen, but based on your description, definitely seems fitting. And like as soon as Yerin's voice starts in the song, like I knew I'd really like this. Like I was super into it. She has like a very like nice, like thick sound to her voice, like thick like a milkshake, if that makes sense.
That's usually used in other contexts, but sure. THICC, man.
No. Okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm not sure if it's like due to the equipment or the environment they use to achieve this sound, or if it's just her voice. But I really, really like how it sounds, production wise. I really like the drum set that was used in the song. I thought that sounded really clean, and again, like the use of ambient noise throughout the whole song, I think really like sets it apart. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I loved the intro. I like how it made you feel like the song was just going to be an intro to the album, when really it's an intro to like the actual song, which we don't really get very often.
It's the intro that became a whole song.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's like our holy grail, basically. Where it's like, oh, this should have been a full song.
Yeah. I thought the piano line during it was awesome, and like you said, Andrew, like the wind chimes, it kind of gives it like a small town, like countryside Europe town feeling. If that makes sense.
That is literally Mary and the Witch's Flower. It's like you know Studio Ghibli. They're or in like again Studio Ponok. They're inspired by a lot of just like fantasy, European fantasy, just like old
fairy tales and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool that it kind of ended with like the weird sci-fi synth to like lead into the actual song. I'm glad they continued that wind chime throughout the song too.
Oh yeah,
it definitely added a lot. After the first verse, what stood out was like the harmony humming part that she does. But yeah, overall she just, and like you guys said, for the whole album, she just showed off like why she's such a like widely renowned vocalist. Her vocals are just so good. And I like how many instrumental changes there are throughout the song, while keeping that like acoustic laid back vibe.
Yep. Our next track is the single entitled "Maybe It's Not Our Fault." So I mentioned before, Baek Yerin kind of took like a sabbatical, quote unquote, from JYP, or putting out music under JYP, and I feel like that influenced the kind of music that she drew inspiration from, or the direction that she decided to take this album towards, because going with like this, I don't know, like lo-fi like type song as the single, it's not something you would expect from a JYP artist. And yeah, it's so unique, just her circumstances, that like the way that she just sort of put out music like this.
I still can't believe she's still under JYP, to be honest.
And no,
like, this is so unlike them.
And no, the thing is, like, she pretty much, this album secured her position at JYP because she got an all kill. She got a real time all kill.
Awesome.
Yeah, she got a real time all kill with this. So there, she's definitely gonna promote this, and she's definitely gonna get this secured, like her future there, essentially. So,
good.
This song was probably the perfect one to go with as the single. Like it, I see the line, or I see like the progression that she's made as an artist over the past year or two, where like she put out a song, it's later on here, but she put out a song in like 2017 that sort of started experimenting with these vibes. Then in 2018, she put out a cover of La 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 Love Song, which is straight up was like the whole city pop type thing. So incorporating all of that into this original song, again, I could see the progression that she's made as an artist, and how she's always involved in the production and the writing of her own songs, and you could definitely see that growth that she's made. And I definitely have to mention the music video. It's pretty dope. It's like she doesn't show up in it or anything. It's just basically like someone's hands. I'm guessing it maybe Baek Yerin's doing like a scrapbook sort of thing. Like it's basically like a giant like Muji advertisement. There's like, it's like scrapbooking and like washi tape and like Muji pens, and there's some parts that are like animated with like almost like pencil drawing sort of things. So it's a really cool. I love the whole like vibe and aesthetic of it. So it's incredibly fitting with the song. So it just, everything about this was perfect. Jacob.
Oh, okay. So for Maybe It's Not Our Fault, like the first thing I said about it was, I know Andrew's gonna love this song. That was like the first sentence of my book. Yeah, it's like, it has a very like again like lo-fi, like hip hop, or like city pop sort of vibe to it, which I really hope she sticks with, because I think it really fits her. And not many people are doing it in K-pop. Like we got Yubin, we got Baek Yerin, and we got Yoon Jung-shin. Like that's about it. But they're not coming out with a ton of music all the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's a niche that people want and like, and I think it's one that she could definitely fill really well, especially with her voice. Like as in the last track, like her vocals sound so clean. I really, really like what they did. I'm curious if they used a different studio than they normally would at JYP, or if they did somewhere else, because
maybe she was probably doing this like on her own, and it just so ended up being, it seems entirely like with the style of music that she's putting out, it seems like she must have just been working on this project on her own, and then it just ended up, okay, you can release it under JYP.
I'm wondering if maybe she did it at her house. Like, who knows? Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like maybe what's making it sound so like nice and thick is maybe there's a bit of like ambient noise in the
Yeah.
recording, which is not a bad thing. Like a lot of like some of the best like rock records and stuff have like a lot of ambient noise in the background, and that really like makes the sound. Like I was watching a documentary recently, Foo Fighters Sonic Highways.
Yeah.
They go to all these different studios around the country, and it really made me
Yeah,
appreciate like the
specifically record
difference
there.
between like the different studios, like how it affects the
Mhm.
record. So I've been like thinking about that a lot recently, and yeah, it's made me a lot more like curious, I guess, when I listen to this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, the instrumental in this song, like paired with the vocals, I think it works really well, and it sets up a really, really like dope vibe. I really,
Mhm.
really enjoy the vibe of the whole album. Honestly, like I think
Yeah.
it's really cohesive and really great.
Yeah,
So
that's one thing to give props for. It feels like a proper album again, not just like a smattering of
yeah,
singles, which is usually what we get in K-pop. So, Nate,
yep,
your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought like it was an awesome like beat and instrumental intro. Like you said, Jacob, it gave me like a classic hip hop feel almost.
yeah,
The beat. And then yeah, the instrumental build up like to drop into her singing was great because like once it dropped it was back into the more like laid back side. And her voice is just so smooth and so easy to listen to. Throughout the song, I really liked the guitar part mixed with the like chimes. Again, it kind of matched the same feeling of that last song where we get that like wind chimey synth going on mixed with the guitar. And I loved that it ended with a short guitar solo and a purely instrumental outro. Like you said, the music video was really cool. I mean, it was overall it was a pretty standard like artsy indie music video. But I do like the like moving drawing aesthetic. That always is like a interesting style that looks good.
Hmm. Moving on, we have "Dear My Dear My Blue," which probably is my favorite track on the entire album. I mean, it's kind of ironic because this is literally there's like no instrumentation outside of like the piano essentially in this entire song. But as someone who's loved like female solo artists that kind of do piano based songs like this, kind of like a Regina Spektor or a Clara C type person, uh, just that's all you need basically. Like the rawness in her voice mixed with the sort of almost like casualness of the piano playing where she's just letting the chords fade out depending on whatever she's playing. So yeah, it's effective enough to sort of get the message or the point of the song across. And yeah, and another thing to note is, yeah, a lot of the songs that she does on here are like straight up like entirely in English, and she's definitely been messing around with
yeah,
songs in English. Like she, I believe, yeah, she's put out like English covers, or she's put out songs that are exclusively in English. Obviously, growing up in America, she's gonna sort of do that from time to time. Her entire songwriting process might even be in English. Who knows? So, yeah, I'm glad that we're getting a
yeah,
mix of. It's not just like all Korean stuff, not just all just English stuff. It's a pretty decent mix on that front.
yeah. Like my first impression was like the piano playing in this is so delicate and beautiful. Like I love um like not everything has to be super like loud and big.
Busy.
You know, I do like love when that kind of stuff happens and it works well. But like you know, there's also beauty and simplicity a lot of times as well. So like um you know, again, like the delicate piano playing, it's very understated, and it kind of um I guess it puts more emphasis on her vocal performance, which
Yeah,
is I think what I like the best. Like honestly, I think she's one of the best vocalists
yeah,
um like in K-pop right now. Like based on this album at least, like her performance was fantastic. Like the song gives off kind of almost like a, I don't want to say show tune, but like it's like something maybe it would be on a movie OST.
yeah.
I could see. Like I can
I feel
almost see like a physical scene being set up while she sings this. Um, and yeah, like also one part in particular of the song that I really enjoyed was the long wait of silence. I thought that was really really effective, and then it picks up and leads perfectly like transition wise into the next song,
that. Mm.
which I thought was
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah. Some people were like on Discord. I think it was Claudia. Was like, "Is there something wrong with the track?" Like it just cuts off immediately. No, I'm pretty sure it's that was on. It was an artistic choice to like have it like
Yeah,
just
for the
abruptly
album,
end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for me, I pretty much agree with you, Jacob. Like, to me, this felt like a musical like ballad,
Yeah.
because with just the piano and her singing it, it's very sparse and it has that
Mm.
feeling of like being on a stage. It
Yeah.
reminds me of my favorite IU song is Last Fantasy, which is another
Mm,
song like this. It's like almost like a Disney ballad,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
movie
basically.
ballad type thing, because it's very musical sounding. And yeah, I just thought it was a really good idea to have a song like this on the album, and she sounds amazing. This is definitely my favorite song on the album.
Yeah,
Mm.
and so far on this, like between the three tracks, we've definitely gotten like different vibes or different sort of like genres
Yeah,
that she's tackled,
and the next
lead,
one's definitely different.
leading
Style.
perfectly into the next song
I
entitled
wasn't
"Our Love."
expecting this.
Our Love is Great. So it's got this like vocalization, like a do 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 do. Like you think it's gonna go into R&B. Then out of nowhere, you just hear this like reggae
Ooh,
guitar
reggae.
drop in. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Completely out of left field for me. It's like basically a mix of like reggae with like modern indie music and like pulling
Yeah.
influences from like 80s soft rock type of stuff. Like it's this weird like smorgasbord of influences.
I need to find out if I can buy this physically because honestly,
Oh,
this is such a
please
great
get me a
album.
copy. Please.
probably.
Oh, I need a copy. I need a this deserves like a physical like spot in my collection. So
Yeah.
the instrumental again, incredible. Basically, it's so unique how they do the instrumentation here, because obviously in reggae you're doing stuff that's a lot of like off time, so like
Yeah.
so you got that going, and then at the same time you've got the string section that's on beat. It's like the da da da. So you've got those sort of going back and forth, off beat and on beat sort of thing. The like it's so she definitely wears her influences on her sleeve, as I mentioned before, pulling from like city pop and like SoundCloud type music. Her vocals in this 100% she's pulling from stuff like Hyako or like other like indie rock type stuff. Like you can I feel the same sort of like delivery and cadence in the way she's singing on this track, and so the way that she's able to tailor her voice for specific genres like this, because the way that she's singing on like Maybe It's Not Our Fault isn't the same as how she's singing on Dear My Blue, isn't the same as how she's singing on Our Love Is Great. So she definitely shows off the versatility, not only in the genres that she's tackling on this album, but also the way that she's delivering her vocal performance on this album. So I think that's just amazing, and it shows the attention to detail that she has over how she's trying to sort of like concoct or like build together this album.
Yeah. So like like literally my reaction to the reggae part was like the same as yours. Like I was listening to it, it's gonna be an R&B, bam, reggae. Like I was really unexpected, but yeah, I really appreciate like that kind of thing, like where it like kind of sets you up for something and it kind of takes a right turn, like just immediately. Um, yeah, like I don't have any specific comments for this song, but like I seriously like can't get over like how good her singing is on this album.
Yeah.
Like it's really really what like is the icing on the cake, I guess, for this whole thing is like her vocals are so good. And again, like the recording just it sounds really really great. So wait, do you know who produced or did she do it all herself?
I'll look up who she
Think
worked
it's
with, but I know
self-produced.
I know she's did most of the.
Because
She's always involved in the songwriting and production process. So I'll look it up.
yeah,
You can continue.
because either way, like everything just sounds so great and fresh. Um, like if K-pop weren't a genre on iTunes, like I'd probably put this under alternative. not pop or R&B, to be honest.
Yeah, this
because
this
like
isn't
she
K-pop.
takes so many different. She takes so much. Well, I mean, K-pop's not really a genre, but that could be another topic on its own. But like
Mhm.
it's like taking from so many different genres and influences and putting them all together, and like that is my favorite thing in music. That's why like outside of K-pop, like my biggest like genre, so to speak, is alternative. Like
Mm.
I
Yeah.
just love the experimentation. So
Mhm.
yeah, like I'm really really happy with this album so far, and this song is no exception.
Yeah, it was her and someone named Cloud.
Cloud,
Gulum.
Cloud Strife.
Um, they produced pretty much the whole album, and then Car the Garden obviously helped with the song that he was
Yeah.
on. So yeah, for me, like you, just to mirror what you guys said, yeah, I thought there was like an awesome acapella opening, and it leads into like a really unexpected reggae beat. And yeah, another song where the instrumental and beat give me like a more classic hip hop vibe, like
Yeah.
with her like chill vocals on top. This song is definitely much more like R&B than the others. Like just more, but with that reggae beat. And I really love the vocal layering in the pre-chorus. That stood out to me a lot.
She definitely makes a good use of vocal layering in some of the songs.
And I love
definitely.
it. I love vocal layering. So
yep. Next, we've got I Don't Know featuring Car the Garden. This was originally a song she put out on her SoundCloud from 2017. I think she put it down because I'm guessing she wanted to put it on the album. Or once it's under JYP, she just didn't want to have it somewhere else.
Yeah, can't. Yeah.
So yeah, perfect choice to have Car the Garden on here. Just he's got the same sort of vibe going for his music. It's just like this 90s R&B sort of thing. Again, you definitely feel the influences or where she's sort of pulling her inspiration from. It's kind of got like the same like vibe that Dean had on his first album. Basically, it's kind of basically like her own version of Dean's like Half Moon, just sort of like this chill R&B type thing. It's definitely, and this is where she like has like more of a relaxed delivery as well. Also, just again goes to show how much I love her songwriting, where the chorus could have just been da 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 like over and over again, but there at the end it's like da 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 da. It's got that like sort of dip into minor and like the sort of like trill or like the nice like sort of accent at the end of it. Like the way she writes her choruses, or like the way they set it up, it's just way more interesting than just like some random R&B song could be. So
yeah. So like I'd say like the biggest standout for me in this song is the bass line. I think the bass line that's used throughout the song is amazing. Like it's super nice and really really deep. Baekhyun's voice, I think it melds really well with Car the Garden, and I think that was a really smart feature. It was one I was surprised to see too, actually, but like in hindsight it makes a lot of sense because I think their music kind of works well together. Yeah, like I thought, like they're both two like really great sounding singers, and I was really happy to see the feature on the album. So yeah, another really great song.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Like this type of song fits Car the Garden perfectly, so obviously it makes sense that he helped produce it. There's a really awesome piano part during the second verse. It gives it like a really dreamy, like mysterious, like type of vibe. And I like the use of brass in the background, but it's super muted so that it doesn't overpower her voice. And also the instrumentals during Car the Garden's part, like I love strings that sound like that. So that part definitely stood out to me. But yeah, overall it's just a really awesome, like dreamy sounding R&B duet.
Yep. Next, we've got "See You Again," a cover of the Wiz Khalifa song.
Wiz Khalifa song. Fuck that guy.
With Charlie Puth. Just kidding.
Rest in peace.
Should have been a Taeyeon cover of Mama. I'm still mad.
Okay, so this song is back to like the indie rock vibe, and at this point I'd love to hear an entire. I know she's got like the whole thing going with the Volunteers. They're definitely more of like a different style of indie, or just like almost more like even like surf rock to some degree, or almost punk. But I'd love this. I'd love to see an entire album of hers just like this with this type of music, like just like the straight up like indie type thing. Or I'd love to see like a freaking Becky and Kyoko collaboration. Like I'm sure that could be arranged.
Dude,
that destroy freaking Becky Hinn's vocals with Choco's vocals, just like that destroy the universe.
That's why I need to find her band on iTunes.
I can't find it. It's only on SoundCloud, I think, and like YouTube clips. I don't know. Maybe they have something like in Korea, but I don't know. I can't find it anymore.
It could be because it's completely like indie. They don't have a label.
Yeah, they don't have a label. It's just Becky and like people from another band. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't be surprised if the bandmates from the Volunteers are actually the ones doing like the instrumentals to this. She's just. And
that'd be
probably.
Yeah, it'd make the most sense. But yeah, so I love the indie rock vibe it's got going. Specifically, there's this like in the chorus, there's this like like this really nice staccato, like picking like sort of sequence going into it. So as opposed to a lot of the like legato, like really just like letting everything fade out and like chord type things that they've been using so far. So yeah, it's a really like I really just want to see an entire album of Beckett and doing this, in all honesty.
So like so this is probably my favorite song on the album, I think. Like the really funky like bass line lends to like a really catchy instrumental that you could actually like dance to. Despite the song overall being like pretty chill, which I like that sort of like dichotomy, I think. I really like the way that Yerin like sings along with the instrumental. I think it like the way she's kind of like riding along it, like it just fits like a glove, if that makes sense. I think she really outdid herself on this song, and moreover on the album overall. Like, yeah, this is definitely my favorite. And like you said, like maybe it's because of like the indie rock vibe, and that's definitely like one of my main genres of music listening. So yeah, I really, really love this.
Yeah. I loved the bass line, and the tone she uses in the song mixed with like the acoustic rock give me a really, really, give me a ton of like Yuna vibes. Like her older music is 100% like this, very rock focused. And yeah, just her tone in the song is very similar to Yuna's tone. So yeah, I loved this song a lot, and I love the focus the instruments get. With giving the guitar a solo after the first chorus and stuff like that. It definitely, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if this had her rock band was like the one actually doing this song.
Yeah, because it feels like a song that a band would put out, not that not a song that a solo artist would put out. So it definitely it'd make the most sense. And closing out the album, we've got I Don't Know, the 2019 version. So this is a remixed instrumental of the previous song, and I love how it just basically completely changed the genre of it entirely. We go from like this chill, like lo-fi R&B boom bap beat type thing with I Don't Know, the one version with Car the Garden, and then this one it's more of like a essentially like an electric guitar focused ballad track, and it works just as well because again, like we've shown again on Dear My Blue, like really all you need is just Yerin's voice to help carry the song. There's enough musicality in her voice to just carry it on her own that something like this would work entirely. And again, I like the contrast between the two styles of songs, just how different they sound. So I enjoy both versions pretty much equally.
Yeah, I really appreciate the like slow, like chill guitar playing in the song. I think it makes it very simplistic, but I think it works really well on this track. Like it puts, again, like I said with the piano on a previous song, like it puts emphasis on her vocal performance, and I think it really gives a more like raw feeling to it. Like again, like recently I've been going back and listening to a lot of like punk rock and alternative rock, and like that was something that's very common in that kind of thing, especially in like the like from like the like late 80s early 90s, like that kind of scene. It's very like, again, low fidelity, but like it's raw, and you kind of get what you get, you know.
Like
I really like that sort of thing.
It doesn't sound like overproduced, and even like the vocals themselves are like have a raw quality to it. So
it gives it
Mhm.
more like tactility to it. Like I feel like I can feel the song more, and
Yeah.
I think honestly, I feel like um, I like the more raw feeling stuff because the imperfections kind of give it
Yeah.
character. I guess it feels more alive, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah,
So
it's not some
yeah,
Mhm.
overproduced like by the numbers type stuff at all.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you guys said. The only other note I had was I really like the use of silence like halfway through to because it
Mm,
mimics a drop without any actual like build up or a drop
Mhm.
at all. Like if that makes sense. Um, it's not like what you think of with an EDM drop with a huge build up and then the actual drop. It's just it kind of mimics that same type of feeling in a completely different type of song.
Yep. All right, on to the scores. So, for those of you joining us for the
yes.
first time, our scoring system is as follows. We're rating it out of 10 with a maximum of 7 points for the music and a maximum of 3 for the concept. So, for Beckyerin's Our Love is Great, I'm going to go with, I split up my music points into 3.5 for single, 3.5 for album. I'm giving full marks for music entirely, so everything,
Yep.
the entire musical aspect of this album was just perfect. It's probably just on the music front, it's probably the leading candidate for my favorite album of the year so far, and I don't know if anything is gonna beat it. Just cause, like, I don't even know like anything more traditionally like K-pop can beat something like this. Just because I feel like you don't get this level of artistry in just traditional pop music all too often. So it sets a
Mhm.
high bar definitely musically. Concept wise, I'm only going to give it 2.5 out of 3. Again, like the music video, as much as I loved it, it didn't go too crazy, but I still loved the sort of visual aesthetic that they were going for with the album. So this is my
Mm.
highest score so far of the year, a 9.5 out of 10.
So I actually gave it the same score as Andrew. I did a 7 out of 7 for music because like every single song was so good.
Yeah.
Like musically, I think this album, like if we were going only on music, I would give this a 10 out of 10.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like again for concept, we take the music video and things like that into account. So like though I might like the music on this a lot more than that or a lot more than one that I did give a 10. I think
Mhm.
um concept wise, it didn't like super blow me away, and it's more like music focused. So I didn't want to take off a ton of points on this, so I gave it a 2.5 out of 3. So overall, 9.5 out of 10.
Take up for the second time it has happened.
What?
This is a throbbingly Daebak album because
We
I
all gave it
also gave it a
9.5.
9.5, 7 for music, a
Oh god,
2.5
now I gotta get the
for
blurry shiny.
concept. So yeah, pretty much the exact same as you guys. I have perfect marks for music. Overall, I wish the music video would have been a little bit more
Yeah,
creative. I think I liked it a lot and it was creative, but it was still very it's what you'd expect from like a indie
yeah,
R&B type of artist music video. So that's why I
yeah.
dropped half a point on the
For
concept.
me, like it just didn't make me go like wow,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like visually.
Um,
It didn't like visually stimulate me that much, so I think that's
yep.
what
I mean, I
turned
love
me off
Muji,
from it, I
so
guess.
it's essentially, like I said, it's a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
Muji advertisement.
Mhm. And then Cooper's thoughts on the album were I'd never listened to any Yerin Baek, he said,
Ew,
before
Cooper.
this, but I was captivated. Well, he's never listened to her, so he doesn't know. Um, I've never listened to any Yerin Baek before this, but I was captivated the whole time with this album. Her voice is so delicate yet strong, smooth but powerful at once. Every song is so beautiful and produced amazingly. I couldn't believe this was released by JYP. No shade. Our Love is Great is one of my favorite songs of the year. The drums and the reggae-ish guitar are so good. I don't really have any negatives to say about this album. The MV is gorgeous and all the songs are wonderful. And he also gave it a 9.5, although he switched.
Yes.
He switched.
Throbbing.
That's why I was saying it was
It's
throbbingly different.
throbbing.
But
Yeah.
he only gave a 6.5 out of 7 for music and a 3 out of 3 for concept. But adds up to 9.5.
So that
So
Awesome.
there's
is
no math to do.
Yeah, there's no math to do. It's straight 9.5 all the
9.5.
way. Truly Daebak album.
Throbbingly
Truly.
Daebak album.
Yep. And yeah, I
Only
don't know
happened twice.
I don't know if
There's
anything's gonna
Boa
be.
in this.
I really don't know if anything's gonna beat this. honestly, for the rest of the year. Because just
Yeah.
the bar is just way too high. So, like, if you're really interested in like SoundCloud music or just like lo-fi, definitely this is an album for you. If you like indie music, definitely an album for you. You can look into Baek Yerin's like sort of back catalog. She's put out albums before, mostly just OST stuff. She never really like this. I'd say this is her most extensive release so far. She has some SoundCloud music if you're into that. Just definitely look into Baek Yerin. She's hasn't gotten that much recognition from international fans lately, but she definitely deserves her spot, and that's why we're rating it so highly. Go watch Mary and the Witch's Flower, amazing movie, or if you want to sort of pull the inspiration for that song. So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If you loved the album, if this is your first time listening to Baek Yerin, definitely let us know what your thoughts are.
Basically, what I'd say, if you're a music fan, listen to the album.
Yeah, if you're a music fan, just listen to this. It should
Like,
it's worth
that
listening
simple.
to. And that's something I very rarely say.
For me, Crush is just the king of features. He's on everything, and I think he's fantastic. I thought there was a great opening with him in the piano. And then I really like the mix between like his soft singing and harmonies, and then Tablo's like angry rapping.